This is the prep packet video for Unit 4, Chapter 9.8, and this is an introduction to complex numbers. So, about 2,000 plus years ago, Greek mathematicians noticed that they would end up with this problem. Uh-oh, what should I do? And just like them, you've been taught that this is not a real number. If the index is even and you've got a negative here, we have a problem. Except they figured out a workaround. And what somebody decided was that this could be written as this. And all of a sudden we can do stuff with this because the square root of 9 is 3. And all we need is something to stand for the square root of -1, some imaginary number, and that's what they did. They said that we'll use I for imaginary to stand for the square root of -1. So if you see this, I squared equals -1. The square roots of these negative numbers, like this, exist in a system called complex numbers. Now, before we define a complex number, let's talk more about the letter I, the number I, and we call that the imaginary number. And I've talked about this, I equals the square root of 1. And therefore, if I square both sides, like we've been taught, I'll get I squared equals -1. And complex numbers, just like they sound, complex numbers are written in this form, A plus B times I. And A and B are real numbers. And that I, remember, is imaginary. So the front part of the number is real, and the back part of the number is here. So here I have a real number being diminished by an imaginary number. Now this looks a little bit different. Here I have just 8I, and that's the imaginary part, right? Well, what if it was really this? Remember, mathematicians don't like to write down any more than they have to. So the real part is 0, and the imaginary part is 8I, or is 8. 4, well, 4 looks pretty normal, but surprise, surprise. So the real part is 4, and the imaginary part is 0. And that's why we can write a number that, like 8I, can be written in the pure form, just like that. I'll let you read that on your own. So that's sort of the introduction to this, the whys and hows. We'll see you on the next video.